fucking go, baby! Let's fucking go! Let's go! Give it to me! Well, what do we have here? The original Sin ring. We were able to lock it in. We got the ring. You know, the best thing about this is not only did we get the ring, but we also, in the same drop, got another chance at getting another ring. Yeah, we also got another original scripture that dropped in with the ring. So that's pretty cool. So I might be able to have 2 rings, one that I can use and one to sell. It's around 100 divines right now. Yeah, this was easily one of the most fun things that I have done in this game. All of the preparation, all of the building, all of the problem solving was just it was just a blast, and it all converged into one shot, right? You just got one shot at it. You can do it or you cannot do it. You can choke, you can succeed, and yeah, it was nerve-wracking. It was super fun. I had a good time in the full run. It was just like heart racing the whole time. You just can't make any mistakes. All of the difficulty in this run, in a no-hit run, comes with preparation. All of it is in the preparation. That's what I want to talk to you guys about today in this video. Talk about the build, talk about how I got to this point, and you can watch the full run in its entirety over on my Twitch. I posted a highlight of it. I'll probably upload the video on the YouTube channel as well. But the run took about an hour in terms of from start to finish, with all, getting all of the maps and stuff without running anything. All I did was just, open up a map, run straight to the thing, bank it, open up another map, run straight to the thing. And it was a blast. It was really, really fun. I highly recommend you try it out. I think the real flex is doing this in SSF. In trade, you have the ability to get a Mageblood. You have the ability to really get that damage pretty easily. But in SSF, it becomes a little bit more of a grind, a little bit more difficult. I would like to try to get it in SSF. I haven't gotten a try yet, but I do think I can get there, especially now with a successful completion of one. So yeah, it's awesome. These kind of items only come around once in a blue moon, so it is worth it to try your hand at picking one up. Don't buy it, just try to get it. So yeah, the build. It was a Stormbrand Inquisitor build, right? So I had 3 options. It was between Stormbrand Inquisitor, it was between Storm Inquisitor Spark, or Tornado Shot. Those were the 3 builds that I think were viable at completing the no-hit run Sanctum with a reasonable amount of investment. Spark being a little bit higher of investment. Initially, I was leaning towards Spark, but I realized you need a little bit more investment personally for me to feel comfortable doing it. And then Tornado Shot, both of these builds I think have the issue of filling the screen with clutter. Just visual clarity is a big problem. Where Spark, you just have the sparks. It's very easy to see everything. The con to Spark, or the con to Stormbrand rather, is that you do have to see the enemy in order for your sparks to activate, which was something that it just made you a little bit more weary of playing it. But once the sparks activated, you can kind of pull back a little bit, and it'll still attack the enemy. So ended up working out well. But with Spark and Tornado Shot, you can kind of off-screen a lot of things. It doesn't off-screen everything, but for most things it does. And it's just the visual clarity that I think, it just makes me nervous. And while you can, the argument is obviously, if you don't, why do you need to see anything if you kill it anyway? It's a valid argument, but for myself personally, to feel comfortable, I do want to be able to see everything. I need to see everything. So I went with Stormbrand. In terms of investment, you have to have the Mageblood with this build. It's non-negotiable, and that's pretty much it. I would say this is really the only big investment. I bought this helmet. It cost me 11 divines. It utilizes 30% more elemental damage, spell crit, as well as hypothermia. The increased area effect does nothing for this build. And just to kind of put things into perspective, if I were to actually get a helmet with, instead of increased effect, if it used concentrated effect, which is a gem that I actually use, then it's up to 25, 30 divines. So this helmet and this type of base goes around for like 11, 10 divines, and the rest of the gear is just peanuts. So you're spending about, maybe, 300 for the Mageblood, and then another 10, 12 for the helmet. The rest of the stuff is very, very cheap. Annihilating Light, Life and Res gloves, Res ring, Call of the Brotherhood. These are laughably bad. 30 move speed boots with just some life regen and res. A +1 neck with some crit, not even a +2. And the flask that I'm using, Bottle of Faith, which is about another divine to the build, but a Bottle of Faith with cast speed, Ellie res, mana cost, so I can actually run my Wrath aura. Without the mana cost flask, you can't run it. You would just need double the amount of mana that I have. And then movement speed and armor. You can probably swap out the granite if you wanted to go like full damage for the damage flask. But, I am using the Bottle of Faith here, the Sulfur Flask. So I just went with that with movement speed on it. You do want cast speed 100% and you want onslaught 100% because the cast speed is what helps scale the build. Cast speed increases the brand activations. All in all, the amount of damage that I'm doing, if we just hop over here to our POB, the amount of damage I'm doing is 25 mil DPS. Now, I think you can phase Lycia, the last boss. You want to phase her in the first part of the fight and also in the last part of the fight. You do not want her to attack twice when you first meet her, and you definitely don't want to get stuck in those red rings that she spits out in the very last part of the phase. So you need to phase her quickly enough where she doesn't do those attacks. And I found around 18 to 20 mil DPS is the minimum of you doing that. The reason you want a little bit more is just in case you get hit with monsters have 30% more life, as well as you deal, I think, 30 to 50% less damage. You want to be able to account for that in your run, because there might be a time where you get stuck and you're just pinned with those mods, and then there's no other. You're just fucked, right? You have to take those mods. So it is good to have just a little bit extra damage. Just go all damage all the way, and you'll be okay. You'll be okay. Just, do a couple runs. Make sure that you can absolutely phase her. Some people are doing like dot skills, like a poison skill or some other dot skill, maybe like a fire dot skill. And your DPS might tell you that you're hitting dot cap, but it might take a while until you actually hit that DPS number, which means there's a ramp up time, which means she might actually spit those attacks out. So do some runs, make sure that you're killing her fast enough where she doesn't do that. And the rest of the run is all preparation, right? Knowing where the enemies are, knowing what rooms to take, knowing exactly kind of what kind of attacks enemies do, so you can just stay prepared and always stay ahead of the enemy. That's the most important thing. The last room isn't where a lot of people fail. It's really leading up to those rooms. It's getting hit by a random sort of like, that little dart that one fire enemy spits out, or the slashing enemy that flickers and slashes on you. It's getting hit by stuff like that, or getting hit by like random traps, which is, funny, but that's what's going to end your run. Less so Lycia. Normally you're going to have the DPS to wipe her out. The build with Stormbrand, you can see here, it's nothing crazy, right? It's like semi-ore stacker. I'm running Stormbrand, Concentrated Effects, Swiftbrand, Awaken, added lightning damage. My auras are Zealotry, Precision, Determination. I'm using a level 3 Enlightened, by the way. Running Assassin's Mark as my curse. Brand Recall, Righteous Fire, Divergent Righteous Fire, by the way, so it gives you that little extra bit of spell damage. Divergent Righteous Fire, all on an enhanced. That's my 6-link. So a lot of these guys will 6-link their auras, but I didn't have the... I didn't want to do that, mainly because I would need to really kind of work around mana reservation, and I needed enough mana to cast my Wrath, which is important, right? So my Wrath currently costs 238 mana, right? So I could probably fit in Haste, which would give me a good amount of damage. Let's actually just take a look. Put it in here. Let's see what Haste gives us. We put in Haste, we do get like another few million DPS, but we also get that added movement speed, which is nice, and attack speed if you wanted to do like a leap slam. But, I'm okay with 25 mil with all this stuff up. And this is a free 25 mil. Again, that's what I found really nice with Stormbrand is that the DPS numbers are no bullshit. There's no ramp up. If you put a Stormbrand down, it's going to do 10, 12 mil DPS, whatever my single Stormbrand is. It's going to do 12 mil DPS hits. Like, it's just going to hit these things like a truck. A little bit less because I don't have a mark on them at all times, right? 11 mil, 10 mil, right? And then when you throw a mark on them, it's doing 12.5 mil. Like this thing hits. There's no bullshitting. There's no fudging the numbers. Everything that I have ticked here is just what happens when I hit an enemy. And yeah, I have an attachment range, which is kind of nice. I was able to find one of these, but I have brand attachment range Sanctified Relic. I do want to say, if you were thinking about Stormbrand, brand attachment range is very, very important. You can get brand attachment range here on this cluster. You can also get some as a mastery, which is what I have here, 40% brand attachment range. You can get some on a relic. There's other ways to get it. Brand recall itself, when you brand recall, it gives the brands like 70% more, 70% increased attachment range. So make sure that you are investing into attachment range, and that's what's going to allow you to drop a brand down, and it'll kind of like, jump across the fucking map to hit the enemies. You don't have to be as close to them. Yeah, some of the jewels that I have here, just a couple clusters. These are about like a divine or two each. I have a Vitality Watcher's Eye. There's no damage on this whatsoever. Increased effect, medium cluster. I have a critical strike chance, medium cluster here. And Glorious Vanity for Corrupted Soul, so I get a little bit extra survivability, because you're gonna need to level this thing up to like at least 95, and it is not fun. I actually take this now because I'm level 95 here. But yeah, it's not fun. Leveling this thing is not fun, but once you get it to a point where you're one-shotting everything, it becomes a lot more manageable, and you can start to level up pretty nicely. So that's the build, man. That is the build. That was the run. This is the ring. I'm super excited about it. I can't wait to... I was actually thinking of doing a Stormbrand build with Chaos with this ring and trying to see how much damage that would give me, kind of work around it. That seems really, really fun. These new uniques that they added have been a blast to use. This is the best league in a long, long time. I'm having so much fun. This was one of the best things I've ever done in gaming. This whole like no-hit run thing. I came to trade with the specific intention to do a no-hit run and get this ring, and I'm just happy I was able to complete it. Some tips for the Sanctum: make sure that you are focusing on room type. You do not want to get stuck with rooms like Entombment. You want to be able to do rooms that you are very comfortable in. You want to make sure that you are focusing your relics on seeing extra rooms as well as the merchant. Now, you'll see if you watch my full run, I actually didn't get any boons. I did it the hard way. I actually never was able to get like a good boon. So it was just boonless, basically. I had like a couple like coin boons, I think. Maybe there was a boon in there, but I know there was no damage boons. And it was still doable. Actually, there was also a point where in the beginning of the run, I actually got slower. Traps are slower, which can brick your run because it moves that end phase smoke really slow. But then the next room, I was able to get traps are faster. So I was able to counter that, and then I was able to save that there. I was really happy about that. Throughout the whole run, I was nervous. I was like, damn, did I just brick my fucking run? But I was able to come out. I was able to come out of it clean. And I personally think this is something that is going to be up to you. But I personally think trying to cheese everything, like putting totems down in these areas and making sure you do this and that, like trying to cheese every room is a bad idea, because it just opens up areas where you can fuck up. You want to be able to just go into a room, feel very confident, you know exactly where the enemies are, what enemies are going to be there, how the enemies are going to attack you, and just blast through them. You want to get in and out of a room as quickly as possible. You know, the longer you're in a room, the longer of a chance you're going to fuck something up or something's going to screw you over. Just be very confident in there, blast through it, you're good to go. Once you get into the last room, you phase her that first time, You start moving, the rest of the run is pretty much free. You've pretty much got it locked in. So yeah, good luck to you out there. I hope this inspires you to go check it out. Stay tuned to the channel. You see the next build that I do with this thing. And after that, we'll head back to SSF and hopefully get one of these in SSF, but we'll see. All right, peace.